Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Real Hazardous. Today's a pretty neat video because we have some underwater footage of the descending device releasing fish. I posted a short about using the descending device to release fish. I got a lot of comments and a lot of people, or at least there was a substantial portion of people who were like, oh, that's shark food. You know, it's just feeding the sharks. Those fish aren't going to make it. And it's a valid point because there are a lot of sharks out there, more so than years past. I think there's some misregulation of sharks, and there's also misregulation of red snapper, which we all know there's tons of them out there. Well, because of it, when you catch them and you have to throw them back, sometimes sharks or other predator species gets them. So what we want to find out is, does the descending device work, and how often are these fish getting ate up? So we have some video. We're going to take a look at it right now. We're releasing mostly red snapper, but we do release redfish, and maybe had a vermilion. Can't remember which all. This is over several trips that I've been accumulating this footage. Now, sometimes when I first started, I would release these fish with a Cuban yo-yo. I just have the weights tied to it. I have probably about 2 pounds or so, 2 or 3 pounds of weights on the descending device rig, and I just got a string of mono on the Cuban yo-yo. I think the regulation calls for at least 60 feet. I've got more than that, but just drop it down and, you know, kind of reel it up by hand. But another thing I did, which I think works better, is using the downrigger, because you got a nice crank. It's faster, it's quicker. You just release it, let them down, and that works better. Basically, put your weight on, hook the fish through it, kind of have a little bit of slack, and go ahead and release it and just ease them down, and it's going to just peel out. And then when it gets to the bottom, just stop it, reel it up. Or it doesn't even have to be all the way to the bottom, but mostly down to the bottom, you can reel it up, and the fish slides right off that metal peg and swims freely. Watching the video, I was pretty happy seeing the fish. They do swim away well. I think it works better than the venting tool. Now, I do think the venting tool worked, and we've seen a really good survival rate, but I do think the descending device works better. So we went through these 6 fish and looked, and there were no signs of sharks or other fish eating our prey. Now, it's not to say it never happens. I'm sure it does. I'm not here to argue that. But there's a point I want y'all to consider. When you're catching fish, when you hook a bottom fish, a red snapper, whatever, you're trying to bring it to the boat. And its home is at the bottom of the ocean on that wreck or ledge or whatever. And so he's fighting you. He wants to stay home, and you want to bring him to the boat. So doing that makes it slow, right? And doing that also creates commotion. He's wiggling around. He's frantic. You're pulling up. He's pulling down. It's creating a lot of commotion. It's attracting sharks. So you got a fish that's attracting shark, and he's kind of, hooked, so he can't freely get down. He's slow. He's weak. He's vulnerable. Now, the descending device is the opposite when you think about it. You're putting a weight on and you're sending the fish down. And the fish wants to go down. So the fish and the gravity and everything is pulling this fish down fast. The fish isn't struggling. He's not kicking around. He's going where he wants to go. You're sending him down there. It's fast. You'll have less than you may think of sharks and other animals catching this fish. Basically the fish is going down so fast, I don't think the shark can catch his attention unless he was right there. This does sometimes happen, but by and large, I think that thing's going to go down. He's going to get to the bottom, and you can see he swims off pretty quick. So we have no footage of a fish taking these fish. Again, I'm sure it does happen, but I think this by and large is pretty effective. Hopefully, powers that be will see this and realize it's a good, effective way. There's plenty of data, obviously, for them to know that the red snapper come back, but as a fisherman, I know a lot of us do care. We want a good, sustainable resource. We want to release the fish we don't want safely so they can grow up, get bigger, and we can catch them later. So for anyone with some doubts, I hope this kind of helped you to understand how it works and why it may be more effective than some people first thought. We're going to try to get some more footage, collect some more data, see if we can find any issues, ways to make it better, or if there are other places where this doesn't work so well. So check back in, and we may have some other videos for you soon about the descending device and some underwater footage. Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Real Hazardous.